Hi, so in today's video I'm going to show you how you can cut masks with your ScanNCut for your stamped images. So I've got some masking tape here. Now I've had this years and I mean years, and there's no label or anything on it, so I honestly can't remember where I bought it. But if you just Google masking tape, papercraft masking tape for stamped images, I'm sure it will come up. It's the only way I can describe it. It's like a big post-it note. It's sticky but not too sticky, and the stickiness is kind of like that strip you get on a post-it note. You could use post-it notes, but the beauty of this is that it's just sticky all over, whereas with a post-it note you've generally only got an element of stick, you know, along the top. So that's what I'm using anyway. I've cut a piece off and I've got two stamps here that I'm just going to use for the demonstration purposes, and I'm using a black Memento ink pad. You could use anything, it doesn't really matter to make your masks. So I'm going to start with this first one, and this ink pad, I'm not sure whether it's inky enough or not, but we'll give it a go and see. So I'm going to make one mask and then I'll ink the leaf. Now I put a bit of this masking tape on my ScanNCut mat, and I chose the test cut and put a square on it to test how to cut this on my machine, and I'll show you how I did that. But on my machine at the moment, to cut this, I'm using a blade of 3 and a cut pressure of 2, but that's my machine. Your machine could be totally different. So the way I determined how to cut this was, first of all, I went to pattern and I went to test cut, and I chose a square and I said set, and then I did a background scan. And then I got the square and I dragged it down to like the bottom corner of my paper. And then I said, okay, cut, and sent it to cut. Without removing the mat or anything, I just lifted up a corner of my masking tape and I could see that that had cut cleanly. Now, if that hadn't have cut cleanly, I would have gone back and said okay, and I would have moved the square onto a different part of the masking paper and adjusted my settings and cut it again until I did get a cut. But as I say, on my machine, I'm just under 3, literally a hair under 3. And cut pressure 2, but you know, this blade has been in the machine quite a while. So now I'm going to say home, okay to delete all patterns, and now I'm going to go to scan. I'm going to do direct cut from the machine. I'm leaving it on black and white. Okay, so now I'm going to say okay. I'm going to drag my drag handles in and isolate this piece of paper here with the 2 cut lines on it. And it seems to be picking up something over here, which I think might be the top of the cut area. So I'm going to go into the delete object size box And I'm just going to take the ignore object up to 0.20 and say OK and OK. And that little mark has gone now, but my other two designs, which I want to cut, are still here. So now the machine has recognised those. I'm not putting any outline on them, because when you're making a mask, your mask needs to sit directly over your stamped image. So you don't want any extra. So I'm going to say OK. I've got the two designs there. I'm going to say cut. I'm going to say OK. OK to finish and unload the mat. So now I'm going to peel away the masking paper. And there's my leaf. Just going to put that there. And there's my flower. So when I come to use these now, I'll just take that piece of masking tape off there. I'm just going to give these stamps a quick clean. Just bringing my grid pad in to give me a bit of cushioning to stamp. So now I'm going to ink this stamp up in a different colour and stamp it. And then we're going to put the mask over it. So you just have to find, on this particular stamp, there's a kind of a little point there, and I'm looking for that point on the stamped one on the piece of paper. I'm just going to put that over the top. So if I wanted to stamp another flower now, next to this one, and I wanted it so that it didn't overlap ink-wise, if that makes sense. That's where your mask comes in handy. So now if I peel this mask away, you'll see the effect that I get. Because I masked off this one looks now as if it's kind of behind it, whereas if I didn't have the mask and I stamped that, you'd have overlapping ink here, if that makes sense. And then what I'll do another one. And then I'll put the mask on this one. And then I'll bring in my leaf stamp, and then I'll go straight over the masking paper, and then I'll remove the mask, and then that's the effect you get. So you've masked off your area there and it looks as though your leaves are behind. And I could do the same with this. I could put the mask back on here if I wanted to say, let me get the mask in the right place. I've got another mask that I've already cut. and I'm keeping them with the stamp set. So if I put a mask over here and mask off both areas, I've not put that on. So then if I get my leaf, and again, if I wanted to cover a leaf up and, you know, do a different, I've got my little leaf there. Let me just put the lids on those and I'll peel this away. And that's how it's looking. And that's how you cut masks with your ScanNCut. So you can see that all the leaves look as though they're going behind. The flowers overlap neatly on this one where I used the 2 flowers. And that's a simple way of using your ScanNCut to make masks for your stamped images. So please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't already do so. Make sure you've got the bell notification icon switched on, and then YouTube will tell you when I post a video. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.